I'm just kidding.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is 5:23. We need to review and approve the minutes from 5/18/22.
Move to approve.
Second,
Any discussion?
no.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Policies to review, JH, attendance, absenteeism, and truancy.
I believe that's Heidi, right?
So this came about for a couple of reasons. We were, when we call DCYF for a student who's been truant, one of the questions that they ask is, have you done a home visit? Has your truant officer done a home visit? So as we were doing a dive into, do we have home visits into the policy, we realized that the policy was really out of date. It doesn't really reflect the current model policy of what the New Hampshire School Board policy recommends. So we just kind of did what we did, and you guys can see what we've added and what we've taken out. We did add in the piece about doing some home visits, and we took out the pieces about homebound instruction, because we don't necessarily do homebound instruction anymore. And we just wanted to include home visits in the policy in case that came to be needed for a student, so that's kind of the history of it, and I'm certainly open to any questions that you might have about your thoughts or what that might look like.
I'm not sure, and maybe I was gonna, do we know what the change? I didn't see like.
I can't
anything.
see changes.
Yeah, I didn't see the change. Normally it's like in yellow or stricken out or,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm new to this committee, so maybe I missed that. Maybe
No,
I'm
I
supposed to
couldn't-
look somewhere else.
I
but-
couldn't notice it, you know.
I'm not sure where that would have gone, because the copy that I have has it all
Strike,
straight
sticking out.
there, yeah.
This looks like a. It's not a Word, it doesn't look like a Word document.
Heidi, can you just share it with them right now?
Yeah.
So they get it in their email?
Yep.
Jen, can you see the changes?
I thought I did. I'm looking for it right now.
Unless maybe, like, so I looked at it through the agenda, I wonder, do we have a policy folder?
No, the agenda is the cleaned up version, I
Oh.
think.
Okay.
See, I'm
The
looking at it
policy
through the-
committee has the,
Is there a, I don't remember seeing a policy folder, maybe I haven't looked. Just need to see that.
There is.
Yeah, we
In the
did,
draft?
we got the policies sent to us, because I read them.
did you go through the policy agenda or the school board agenda?
The policy agenda.
Oh, the policy agenda should be the correct one.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't have any markups or anything.
And I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Maura.
Moss, I don't know how I forgot that. I'll just claim.
Yeah, because the
Julie.
one, the
MOIR.
one in the
Yeah.
policy
No, I
agenda
remember.
is usually the marked up one, so we can see the, because it's not there.
Weird, okay.
But if you, some of the other items,
The other two are marked up.
the other two are marked.
Okay, yeah, that's why I.
Okay.
like,
Well,
I don't-
Heidi's got the markups.
Okay.
That'll make it,
I'm sharing it, right?
sorry about
So
that.
when you say share, does that mean email or am I looking in the
It'll
Google
go in
Drive?
I'll
your
go
email.
to your email, I'll share it.
Okay.
So did you send it?
Yep.
It's weird with this Gmail, sometimes stuff that I've already read shows up in unread.
Hmm.
It's not in everything else anymore.
Oh, yeah, this looks totally different than the
Yeah.
one that we have.
Yeah,
Like the headings and everything are different.
And I think the things that are added in green are pieces that we added.
so this is JH.
There's a lot. Yeah, so this, all the stuff that's taken out is what was attached to our agenda, the old one.
Okay. We must have had a clerical error with the agenda, but as long as you have it now, you can just take a minute so that you can review the changes.
So for illness, do we have to have like does COVID need to be added, or is that considered?
No, I think
illness?
it's really just considered to be illness at this
Okay.
point. I mean, look, I'm nervous about next November, but I'm more nervous about staffing levels.
Mhm.
Right, and student, I mean, of course, I'm nervous about the students, but student attendance isn't correlated to the school being open or closed. staff attendance.
Not great.
So is this the recommendation of the School Board Association,
Yes.
this version?
Joni was, well, she would have been here tonight, but she had an appointment.
Yeah,
But she worked with the School Board Association to make sure that this is based on their model policy.
We worked on this for quite a while. It was really quite out of date.
so in the beginning, I saw that the superintendent was responsible for determining absences, I guess. But that's gone. So who's the authority now for whether someone has an absence or not?
It's right here, Jim, in the section, what's considered an absence, or,
Which one?
if you go to, they just defined it, what truancy is.
Yeah,
Truancy is defined as any unexcused absence from class or school. Any absence that has not been excused for any of the reasons listed above will be considered
Right.
unexcused.
but who's the authority that decides if it's excused or not?
It's this policy
The
tells.
policy decides
Oh,
it.
So if you don't have any of those 6 or 7 reasons, it's considered unexcused.
Okay, but there must be some person
Well, yeah, the nurse at the school and the principal.
that, okay.
Yeah, it would be at the building level because I wouldn't, thanks for.
Oh, yeah, it says the principal or their designee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm cool with this.
I know Jim pretty well. He always wants to know who's responsible for managing it. It's not a bad thing.
I knew where he was going with
Yeah,
that.
I did too.
I don't have any.
I don't have.
How long's it been, Jim? 5 years?
This is the 6th, isn't it?
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And we don't put anything in this policy about like the filing of the educational neglect or like that, that.
No, this just defines what it would look like, and then we follow DCYF's policies.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
So I'll move to approve this.
thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion? All in favor? Would we like to move it to first and second read?
I think they'd like it adopted and approved before school starts so that we're ready for it next fall.
Okay,
So
so
they're
I'll
asking me-
move to approve it for first and second read.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we move to the agenda.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
I don't know if you were staying for the grading conversation, but we've decided to move that to the 22nd.
On the school board meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I just-
I'm probably just, the ELO still.
Oh,
going
yeah,
on,
yeah,
so I'll
that
just
is, we want the
stay
students to
seated.
speak tonight. That's part of why
Yeah.
we're trying to balance the agendas for the 2 meetings this month.
Okay.
This one's way too loaded tonight.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, my computer was being fun. DFA investment.
Okay, so basically, there is no adjustment to this one. State law requires us to approve the investment policy on an annual basis. So since I've been here, we've been approving it this time every year. And so let me just kind of quickly go through it. And the first part, if we go down to the statement of policy and under the objectives, the first 3 areas there deal with the safety of the principal, making sure that the money is in a FDIC insured bank account or collateralized. Collateralized means anything above $250,000 is insured. So 100% of our balances are insured. The next one is to make sure that the portfolio is liquid enough to meet all of our operating needs. So we're not going out and buying investments with this like stocks and bonds. What we're doing is we're either putting it in cash or we're depositing it in the state's investment pool, which is called PDIP. The next one is yield. It's just to try to attract a market rate of return. And right now that rate of return is very low. Then we move on to standards of care, and it defines what a prudent investment is. And what this policy does is it actually points to best practices from the GFOA, that's the Government Finance Officers Association. And then if we move on to the next one, ethics and conflicts of interest, about who can and cannot participate in investing the funds. And then finally, it goes over the internal controls where the district treasurer and the superintendent shall establish internal controls and document those controls in writing. And periodically, the school board and be reviewed by the school board and independent auditor. So this is being reviewed by the independent auditor, which we just at the last meeting reported out on that. So that's it.
So does this govern the strategic, the capital reserve funds and all of those
No.
trusts and all that, or is this just?
This is just for like the main operating accounts and student activity funds. Those accounts you're talking about, those are falling under the investment policy of the town's trustee of trust funds.
All right, I'll move to approve this,
Second,
for first and second read.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, and then the last policy is EHAA, email communication for first and second read for school board meeting tonight, is what the hope is.
Yep, this is, the policy has been updated. There's been a significant internet security law that was put into play 2 years ago. Gordon would be here tonight, but he's dancing with his daughter, which we all support.
He's been practicing that dance for a while.
He is really working hard at this, and I would very much like to see it, but I've been told no. So I think that the essence of this is that Gordon is trying, essentially his role, I think he said there are 19 policies that have to do with this law. It's very complicated. And it's all about internet security and maintaining the integrity of the system. So I talked to him about his concerns. One of his biggest concerns is that people are forwarding their SAU email to their personal email, and that won't be allowed in the future, but we're not addressing that tonight. What we're addressing tonight is that anyone who's been elected to the school board or the budget committee needs to use their SAU email, because we can't be liable for their personal email addresses. And that is in one of the policies that Gordon was working on anyway, which is ironic that for the first time in 5 years it came up in the last 2 months that someone didn't want to use their SAU email address. Fine, I understand, but with this law in RSA 91A, the two laws combined for compliance, Gordon is recommending the adjustment that's in the current policy.
Any discussion?
Yeah. So it says in here that it's to satisfy controls of RSA 189:66. So I looked at that RSA, and it has to do with HIPAA information primarily,
No, it's not just HIPAA.
not just HIPAA.
No, the school, we paid a significant sum of money to have a security audit of the district per the law
Yeah,
in 2019.
okay,
And it's about confidential information and information in the school district. So I would have to have Gordon has spent months working on this.
right.
I'm not the expert, so I don't feel comfortable sharing anything with, like, if you want to sit down with Gordon and talk with him about it, that's fine, but it is definitely way bigger than just HIPAA. It definitely governs the school board as well, but he could explain that to you, Jim.
Okay. I don't have a problem with this per se, with requiring people to have an SAU email.
Okay.
And doing official communications through that.
Mhm.
I do have a problem with not being able to have it forwarded.
Yeah, and that's why we're not addressing that tonight.
Okay.
Gordon's going to address that at length in the 19 policies that he's working on.
Okay.
And I understand that some people aren't going to like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not glued to your cell phone or your laptop and we get things an hour before a meeting or half hour before a meeting, I'm not gonna have seen them.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of there are some ways
Yeah.
to add the SAU email account to your mobile device so that you can see it without forwarding it to your personal email. And Gordon will provide some training on those techniques because they're really easy.
I had it to mine.
So what's the difference between forwarding it to your mobile device and forwarding it to your email?
If it's only in the essay, now I may be wrong about this,
Yeah.
but I'm just telling you what I think, right? And I've not studied this the way Gordon has. The difference is that if the email goes into your what Gordon explained to me is that if the email goes into your personal email as a forward, then it exposes your personal email to a search under RSA 91A. If you forward it to its own inbox and it isn't mixed with your personal email, it helps to mitigate that, but I'm not even sure he's gonna be okay with that. So I don't want to say anything that becomes, Tom said, without Gordon in the room about this, which is specifically why we didn't put that in this policy. We weren't ready yet.
What I'd be okay with, not happy with, but okay with, if I got a notice that says you have an email in your.
Yeah, there might be some ways that we can help to notify.
Right, rather than get the actual email, but
Yeah,
yes, yeah, the email's there.
Yeah, and
Because otherwise, you gotta check your email every hour.
yeah, you gotta keep an eye on it, I get it, I do, and that's a practical issue, and we can sit down and talk with Gordon before we roll it out. But we're talking about a major shift in the way we do business in these 19 policies.
Right.
Gordon was just concerned that we didn't have a formal policy that said, if you're an elected official, you have to use your school email. And he wanted that done right away because he is not going to, that is incongruent with the law.
Well, that makes sense because constituents have to be able to reach you.
Exactly,
It's not just your preferences,
right.
so.
And the district can't be responsible for searching people's personal devices. We can't control that.
Mhm.
And the cost of that, if somebody fought us on it, is massive. We're not gonna put that cost on the district.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Is it not the response, if the school district got a.
Right to know request.
Yeah, right to know request. Isn't the school just responsible for what is on the school's email server? So you're saying that they are responsible for what, if somebody sends something to my personal email, now the school is responsible to look at my email?
No,
Or I thought there was kind of a line that now it becomes my own personal responsibility, and it's not the school's?
it's complicated. So
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is to protect our elected officials and employees from having to have their personal email searched under an RSA request for the district.
Right.
And the way to protect you from that is to give you an SAU email address and have you access that email address via your laptop so that there's just no, these two devices have no personal information on them. If you did a right to know
Right.
request on me, I would just hand them to you.
But to clarify, the school has, if it's going to my personal email right now, the school has satisfied its responsibility.
We don't, so if you forward your theoretically,
Yeah,
if you forward your SAU email to your personal email, you have opened your personal email to search under RSA 91A.
but as far as from the school perspective though, you guys, the school has done what it has done.
No.
It's
I'm now
not-
opening myself up to myself being,
So-
and I
Yeah.
this is the only place I see my emails. I don't want to be involved in any of that, so I keep everything completely separate, so I'm not coming.
No,
at
I know,
this
you're
from
asking a great question.
Kind of a different angle.
So like, for example, if you used your personal email address and said, I want you to email my school business to my personal email address, then you would definitely be open to a
Mhm.
search under RSA 91A. If you forward your school, the question Jim's asking is, why is it that if I forward my school email to my personal email address, why does that open my personal email? And the reason why is that the read from Gordon in his training is that once it's forwarded to your personal email address, it's school business in your personal email. So what I recommend to people is that you only do your school business on your school email. So what I have a question about is whether or not you can download your school email to a different inbox on your phone so that you can see it, but it's not mixed with your other email. And I don't know the answer to that, Jim. That's the question that I'm wondering.
Or get a message to your inbox on your personal,
Oh, yeah.
or get a message to your inbox on your
Yeah.
personal email, you have SAU email.
Kind of like old in the 90s, you got mail.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just
yeah.
have a
yeah.
quick question. So
Sure.
when you scroll down to the bottom of the policy, it says new March 5th, 2014. So I don't know if we have not the right one in the agenda.
You do have the right one. That's the last time that it was reviewed, was in 2014.
Okay,
So
and
it's
no
way
change,
out
and no
of-
change, but no changes were made to it.
None.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why Gordon is going through, it seems like a long time ago, but the law changed in 2019 and then COVID hit. So Gordon is going through the report that we received, and he's going through all the trainings. There's a lot more coming about this, but he was just nervous right away that this needed to be straightened out because it really can't be a problem for the district. My advice is
So,
just do your school
but-
email on your computer.
But so if you have your email forwarded, although that's not what we're talking about, the school is now taking some type of responsibility. You're basically saying, hey, school, I allow you to check my personal emails now. If we got a right to know request.
That is the opinion that Gordon shared with me. Yes,
See, part of the problem is we don't know if you conducted business through your personal email account. So if someone on the right to know request says, well, then I want to go look at Maura's personal email account, then we have a duty to go and get it.
can you imagine what a nightmare that would be?
Well, yeah, no, I guess I'm not trying to be nitpicky about the whole thing, but I guess there's open to interpretation on what that RSA really might mean, in that it might mean, no, the school has done their part. The school has searched the school servers, whatever I
That's how we
personally
were
done,
operating prior.
and
to
that
that.
was,
Yeah,
and so I guess I don't know,
that's how we were operating prior to this last month.
yeah,
When all this came up and Gordon started digging in and working on the next level of the policies, because Gordon's been working on this for quite a while.
yeah,
And he's got a big list of things that he's
Mhm.
bringing forward. He didn't realize that people were forwarding their school email to their personal email addresses.
mhm.
He didn't know that, because you do that in your settings. You know what I mean? Like you forward it, don't you? But if
Set
you-
up through the SAU.
The SAU set it up to forward to your personal
Yeah,
email
I can't forward it without, yeah, I don't forward it. It's set up in the
in the
settings.
system. So someone prior to Gordon did that for you probably,
Yeah, whoever was there before.
which makes sense because that was before the law changed.
Yeah,
See, it's
so that
not
was, what was I forgetting his name now?
Bob Ficker.
Bob Ficker.
Yeah, which is fine because prior to 2019, it might have been fine.
Right.
Exactly. It's not, no one's doing anything maliciously wrong or anything. We just want to protect people.
Right.
We don't want you to have your personal email searched, and we don't want the district to encumber the expense of having to fight with people about it.
Right.
We're trying to mitigate loss.
Right.
It's a loss mitigation strategy for technology.
So would we like to hold this until we can meet with Gordon? Are we?
Well, we're not, this proposal does not include this thing about the forwarding.
Mhm.
So I think we can move forward, but we will be bringing this up and we'll have a chance to talk about it, Jim. It's later.
So are there any discussions on the policy at hand?
No more. But I'm not voting for this. I'm gonna let the school board decide it. I'm gonna abstain. Why? Because, I want to hear what all the members have to say.
Well, yeah, but you're just voting to forward. it
Are
to
you
the
comfortable
school board.
with
You're not voting
moving
on
this to the board?
To bring it to the board, sure. I'll vote.
Yeah, that's what you're voting on. sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Vote
I'll move, yeah.
for first and
Do
second
we
reading.
need to motion that?
Yep.
Or was that a motion? Did
You
you
got a
just
motion.
forward it? Did you just first?
I
motion?
didn't make the motion.
I'll make a motion to forward it to the school board.
Second,
Go ahead.
second, all in favor? Is that it? So our next board meeting is not the 17th of August, it's actually September 7th at 5:20.
we're gonna have a lot of policies next year.
Okey dokey. Any other agenda items for September?
Gordon's technology policies.
Okay.
Like, we really are gonna dig into this in September. We have to.
All right, no
So
further.
school's out till September. Should we play the Alice Cooper song?
Right.
If there's no further questions or discussion, we will adjourn at 5:47.